Welcome back to Real Life Reviews, and in this review we're going to take a look at compression socks, and we're going to look at compression socks that are active or performance. That's ones that predominantly we want to wear whilst we're training or competing. We're going to look at them in terms of running, we're going to look at them in terms of cycling, we'll mention recovery, but more importantly for a lot of you out there, we're going to look at cycling and running and wearing them particularly in longer course triathlons. All the compression socks that we feature on this video can be bought through our affiliates, and there's a link to Wiggle, who supply all of them actually, in the description down below, and there will also be a link at the end of this video to our website where we have a number of other affiliates as well as Wiggle, and you can shop around and hunt for the best deal on these socks. The great thing about those links, from our point of view, is if you go through the link, Real Life Reviews just gets a tiny little proportion of what you spend. It doesn't cost you any more, and in fact you can get some great deals by using those links and discount codes, etc. Now, all the socks we're looking at today, I've tried to get a fair comparison. So we're looking at socks in the £25 to £35 UK range, cost-wise, and socks that basically claim to do the same thing. The socks we've got to look at, we have the CEP Run Compression Socks 2.0. We have, here we go, we have the Skins Essential Active Compression Socks. We have the Hilly Marathon Fresh Compression Sock. And we also have the 2XU or 2XU, depending on your preference, the 2XU Compression Performance Socks. Now, what's really important about all these socks is, and for that matter all compression wear, is that you get the right size. There's arguably one sock missing within this price range and what we're looking at, and that's Compress Sport. And simply, the reason it's missing is I just could not get hold of a pair in the right size. So it wouldn't have been fair for me to compare those with these. That aside, let's get on with it. I will just look at, to start with, the packaging, because first impressions are quite important. And it's great for me to sit here and say, I don't care about the packaging, in the sense that if it's not massively impressive, good, I'm thinking about the environment, and I'd rather it almost came in a nothing bag that biodegrades very quickly. However, first impressions do count. So, the Hilly comes in a nice box, fine, excellent. The 2XU or 2XU comes in a very, very well thought out, clever little box with information on it. Possibly the most impressive packaging. Closely followed by the CEP, which is a very neat opening up design. Well done, CEP. And the least impressive packaging wise, but it might impress you most in terms of the material it's using, is the Skins, which comes in a plastic sock wrapped with just a little cardboard hanger. Packaging, if it's important to you, there you have it. I mentioned earlier that the most important thing when buying these socks is the fit. And whilst lots of companies will talk about your shoe size, the really important factor is, or are, these boys down here. Yep, the calf muscles. And for reference, mine measure roughly 39 centimetres at the widest point, and all four socks I've got here come in what the companies refer to as the medium size. So again, trying to compare like for like, but they do have good size charts to try and work out which is the best sock for you. All of these socks claim to have graduated compression on the calf. So it's about how they do it, and we'll have a quick look at one or two of them on that feature. So let's kind of take graduated compression to one side. They all actually do it, and do it really well. What are the subtle differences that might make you want to buy one sock over another? Well, the CEP. The CEP has a flat toe seam underneath the toe, and if you're buying to the calf and the size of the sock is slightly big, you've got small feet, big calves, that might be something to consider. There is no seam to bunch up there. The other is that on testing, and that's both cycling and running, I found the heat management of these in warm weather to be a little bit better than the other socks. Now, of course, everything's relative and this is very subjective because the weather could have been slightly hotter, etc, etc. But I did find the heat management of the CEPs a little bit better than the other socks. Moving on, the skins, and actually I've got a pair that aren't black, so they kind of look a little bit sort of nattier, a bit more trendy. I found these to be a massive all-rounder, probably the most comfortable straight out of all of the socks. Not necessarily the very best at anything, but a really good all-round sock. Its graduations, or the graduated part in the calf, comes from partly that it's got vertical seaming on the outside and it's got normal weave around the middle, which gives it a little bit of that graduation. The CEP, on the other hand, is more of a bobble weave. It does have vertical weaving on the sides, but the vertical weaving is much further round and nearer the shin, nearer the tibia and off the gastrocnemius or the calf muscle. So graduations on the skins, etc. Now, the Hilly, whose background is obviously much more running than cycling orientated, I found, despite the fact that I mentioned about the heat maintenance of the CEPs, I found the venting and the sort of freshness that you got in the Hillys on the upper foot superior to either or any of the other three socks on test here. Similarly, they're seamless under the toe. So again, if you're somebody who does feel seams and little bunches or whatever underneath the foot and it annoys you, or it's possibly a source of blistering, well, the Hillys could well be a sock for you. And then, and before we go off the Hillys, their graduations on the calf are all vertical. So vertical alignment for all of the graduations on the Hilly. Moving then on to the 2XU or 2 times U. The 2XU is possibly the stronger of the socks. Now, you could argue that maybe the sizing of the sock is slightly different to the other three, but I found this the stronger sock. It's another sock that works its graduations through vertical seaming on the calf muscle, on the gastrocnemius, and I very much got the impression that this was a sock that would suit, well, it certainly did suit me for longer rides and longer runs. So what's the testing involved? And it's taken quite a while. It's taken a few months to get through all of these pairs of socks doing what I want to do with them. And that is, they've done some pretty decent cycle rides over distance. They've done some sprint work, they've done hill work, they've been running. And again, we've done some quite long distance running, we've done some good trail running, we've hit some hills and tried to give them a really good workout in that area as well. I've also, with all of these, done some pretty significant brick sessions. So not just a quick cycle and a little jog, but a decent cycle, certainly in excess of 35 miles, 40, 45 miles, and then a decent run. So again, nice run out my back door around the local reservoir, 7.7 miles. So a 35, 37 mile loop followed by that run to get a real feel of how these perform over a period of time stroke distance. Now, a consideration for many of you is going to be the wearing and putting on of these socks, because if you're like me, the reason I wanted to investigate these was looking at longer distance, Ironman and half Ironman, of having a compression sock that after the swim, I could put on using the cycle and using the run. And that's kind of the background and basis to this review. So what I'm going to actually rank now is heading in that direction. But what I would say is there is an alternative to this, and that is calf guards, which you can wear under your wetsuit in the swim and then just put on your preferred running sock in transition, which potentially will be quicker, because these by definition are going to be quite hard and slow to put on carefully. And something that has come up in a number of forums with pretty much every compression sock is people who rip them trying to get them on quickly, and coming out of the swim when your feet and legs are still damp, that's going to exacerbate the problem. So there's a maybe, maybe not, and I've got a calf guard video coming up fairly soon. However, let's look at what we've got here. Best for cycling. Best for cycling in my book is or are the CEP socks. And in particular, I was impressed with them climbing out of the saddle, and just the feel they gave me. Out of all the 4 socks, I felt most comfortable, and I felt they were giving me the best effect on the cycle. Best for running, the Hilly. No question about that, really. Although I say no question, they're all very good. But the Hilly, best for running. All day wear. If it's something you're getting little niggles in the calf muscles, you want some compression. You go to work, you're going shopping, and it's an all-day wear sock, then I would go for the skins. And that might be a suggestion that they're not quite as tight as the other 3 pairs, but skins for all-day work. Best for pure recovery. So if you've not worn them for the run and you want to put a pair of these on, I'm back to the CEPs. The CEPs, again, and it probably harks back to my comment about climbing and being out of the saddle on the bike, they do feel like they're giving you that slightly more compression. There's one I've missed off here so far, and basically if I were to rank these socks in order, this sock has come second in all categories, and the 2XU, 2 times U, is my best all-round sock. It covers all the bases and covers them really well. And I would go as far as to say that for long course triathlon, this is the sock for me. So if I were to pick a favourite, the 2XU is going to do all the jobs. I have obviously been out and bought them all. None of these have been given to me by the company, and I will still wear all of them. This is very subjective, I appreciate, and they're all very, very good socks. So best for cycling, best for running, all day wear, recovery, and total all round with a 2 times U, 2XU. If you've liked the video, please do give it a like and share. If you want to buy any of these socks, well, there is a link to Wiggle in the description down below. Also, click on our website, any of our affiliates on there, try and get a good deal through them. If you haven't yet subscribed, round picture down there. And summer's here in the UK now, so video on the Sol Invictus sunglasses up there, or how to set a brick session on your Garmin 925 935. Thanks for watching.